from the fatal police shooting of Laquan. Do you support the current agreement? And what is your specific plan to improve the relationship between police and the communities they patrol? Gary Chico, I begin with you. You have 1 minute.
I support the consent decree. I think it's a blueprint to make Chicago's police department better and the relationship between our communities and the police better. I think we need a change in leadership in the Chicago Police Department. We failed. Witness the fact that we need a consent decree. Witness the fact that we have a 17% homicide clearance rate. Witness the fact that CAPS has gone away. And I was working in the mayor's office when we brought about CAPS. We need to bring it back. But it's not just that. We have to get these illegal guns off our streets. The gangbangers that are committing crimes with guns are out of control. And what we're finding is that more than 60% of the guns used in these crimes are coming from over the border. I've said that if we can't get Indiana and Wisconsin to work with us, we sue them. And that includes the Cabela's gun shop right in Indiana, right in Indiana. We can no longer take this. But understand, at the end of the day, it's not just a policing problem. We have to do some of the things that Willie talked about. We have to invest in our neighborhoods, give people a chance to work in a positive job. And I believe if we do that, the programs like the Ready to Shoot, you'll see.
Gary Chico, thank you. LaShawn Ford, same question, 1 minute.
Thank you. Yes, of course I support the consent decree, but we know that it does not go far enough. And what we have to do is make sure that we work with the FOP, and we must work with the state, the city, and all of the elected officials and the community to make sure that we have a fair contract so that we can make all of our communities safer. There's no doubt that the consent decree falls short of doing what it was supposed to do. And of course, when President Obama was in office, his federal Justice Department said that there was racism in the police department. That racism not only jeopardizes the police, but it also jeopardizes the community. And so we need healing in the city. We must do everything that we can to have a fair contract with the FOP, and we can no longer leave our police unprotected, no longer leave our communities unsafe. And so it would be me.
Mr. Ford, thank you. Lori Lightfoot, you're up next. Same question.
Yes, the concept of the consent decree is right. The consent decree is drafted, needs substantive changes. I've outlined what those changes are. Some of them are this. One, it doesn't deal with the accountability issue that we've got. We're spending $50 to $60 million every year on settlements, judgments, and attorney's fees. That's to the side. That needs to be part of the consent decree process. It allows for shooting in the crowds, which is a mistake. It allows for chokeholds, which is also a problem. And it doesn't have a foot pursuit policy, which is also a problem. There are other substantive changes that need to be made, and I'm hoping the federal judge, before he signs it, will make those changes so that we have the ability to transform the police department. I'm the only candidate in this race and on the stage that actually has a track record of success in dealing with police reform and accountability. The work that me and my colleagues did on the Police Accountability Task Force is the underpinning for the consent decree. I know how to do this work, and I'll be ready day one to make the necessary changes to transform.
Thank you, Lori Lightfoot. John Kozler, you're up.
Yeah, the provision that I do agree with the consent decree is more training. I think the police officers will also agree that the more training we have, the more benefits that will be for the Chicago Police Department. But I also think that we have to let the police do their jobs. They have a very, very hard task in front of them, and we continue to make it more difficult for them to do their jobs. They've been doing an excellent job overall, and there are some bad apples. Let's not be wrong about it. But let's hold those individuals accountable, but not the whole police department, because there's a lot of good men and women on the police force. Yeah. The one specific idea that I have is a 60-40 idea. So right now, the problem is there's tension between the police and the communities. But when they work together, that's when everybody benefits. Right now, the criminals are benefiting. So in order to police in that specific district, 60% of police officers have to live there. Now they're not seen as outsiders, they're seen as community members who know the neighbors, they know the streets, they know the blocks, they know how to live there, and they're investing in the neighborhoods. And that will reduce the tension over time.
Thank you so much for your answer. Our next candidate is Susanna Mendoza. Same question.
Thank you. Well, number one, I do support the consent decree, and we'll work towards implementing it. Number two, the Obama Justice Department's key recommendation in that was to provide better resources and training, better resourcing and training of our police department. That is a critical component. You cannot possibly expect police officers to only work off of the training they receive in the academy, put on the vest, wish them luck and expect great results. These men and women, first of all, anyone who puts on a uniform, whether it's in the military or in our police department, deserves our respect, and we need to honor that sacrifice, that they're willing to lay their lives on the line for people they have never even met. I have family in the police department, and I want them to come back home safely, but I also want to make sure that every mother in this city, whose kids may look different than I do, also feel the level of comfort to know that they will come home safely. This is going to be a tough job, but I know what it's like to be that scared kid who needs to rely on police for a safe environment, and I know what it's like to have family on the force. And I think it's time that we have a mayor who understands both sides of the equation and will work hard to implement.
Thank you for your time. This next